Welcome to Dee Dee Blooms. This is my Habenaria journey for 2023. So it's February and it's time to see if these guys are waking up. One of the Habenarias I have, which is this Maxdusa, I have noticed a little green growth down in the pot right there. It's a little tip of a growth coming through. So this is my signal to start checking things out in the pots. This is my other Habenaria. It's a cross of carnea with Medusa. And I got this one from Diamond Orchids. It's the Pegasus. Sorry, the other one is the Maxdusa, also from Diamond Orchids. So I got both of these from Diamond Orchids last year. And I'm not seeing anything. Oh, there's a little tip right there. So we've got this one waking up as well. So we'll start with the Maxdusa and we'll just start getting all the media out from last year, and we'll see what we've got inside the pot. I'm gently squeezing. It might look brutal, but I'm being very gentle. There's not much resistance, so I feel comfortable squeezing that much. Now we can see the growth a little better, and we'll just keep working this out. I'm spreading out the media because I also want to see if there's any additional corms that were grown. So over the winter, I barely watered these. I maybe gave them an ounce of water every few weeks. You really don't give them water during the winter once they go, or actually they go dormant in the fall. So once they go dormant, if you water them too much, you're going to rot everything. So maybe an ounce of water every few weeks, like super sparingly. And so we've got a nice growth here. I'm just kind of looking around to see what else might be going on. And I'm seeing another little green growth. Let's get some of that stuff out of there. Oh, yep, definitely. I've got two growths, which means last year's corm produced two new corms. And that's what they do during the winter. They produce separate new corms. And what I'm peeling off right now is some extra clumps of soil, and now I'm looking at, that was the old corm. It's desiccated, it peels right off and you throw that away. And so now I have two corms. I can either decide to pot up together or pot separately to create two different plants. And so we're back here with the media I'm going to use. It's bark, charcoal, perlite, some peat moss, and then in the bottom of the pots I have sphagnum moss to retain moisture and humidity. And so I'll start by centering. I'm going to pot up the larger corm with the larger growth, and I will make sure to put it in the center when I do get it potted up here. So I'm going to try to put a nice little hole in the middle for the corm to nestle into. And one of the things that's important is I need to pot it up to the same height as it was peeking out from the old media. I don't want to put it too high up. And so right now I'm trying to make sure it's the right height, and I need to get rid of a little bit more media. So need to be a little bit of a perfectionist here. It's very important for any type of growth. If you're repotting something and you find a brand new growth that was covered up, make sure to cover it back up. It is not used to light. It's not used to air exposure. The humidity within the media is very important to that new growth. So if something's covered up while you're repotting, cover it back up. So I'm going to make sure this growth is still only having its tip coming out with the new media. Now with these, once I have them potted up, I will start watering more on a regular basis, but slowly. So I'm going to start probably watering once a week, and then within a couple weeks I'll go to 2 times a week, and so forth until I'm watering every day. And the growths will be a lot stronger when I get to watering every day. They'll have leaves growing out and look like little plants and all that good stuff. But to begin with, I'm going to water very sparingly. So like I said, I'm going to start once a week, and only along the sides of the pot. It is very easy to rot these orchids, so I'm going to try to be really careful. This is my first time ever growing Habenarias. I'm so happy and thrilled that they created new corms and new growths for me, so I didn't kill them over the winter. And but the risk with starting to water is you can't just pour water over those new little green root growths, not root, the new growths. You'll rot them. So you just get water all along the edge, and if you get any water on the new green growths, get some paper towel and get it off right away. So there we go, there's that one. And the other one I couldn't even see, so it's under the media, just barely under the media. So now we're going to look at my Pegasus. I don't see anything, but I have a suspicion that there is a growth with the other one waking up. Oh, and there it is. It popped out right away. So, and that looks like the old desiccated corm that I just showed you. Now we'll pour out the rest of the media, spread it out, and I'm going to look to see if any other corms were created. But I don't see any. We are left with the one, which I am happy with. I am absolutely thrilled. So jumped ahead, got some more media mixed up. I ran out of media to finish potting this one up. So we will get that finished up here in the center and potted up to the same exact level, which I couldn't see the growth until I unpotted. So I'm gonna keep that new growth just right at the media's level, so not, just underneath it, I guess, ready to start coming out. And again, I will start watering this once a week all around the edges. See how you can't see? But that's that. Okay, we'll clean up here, and here's my 3 new baby Habenarias. The one in the back did not sprout anything, unfortunately. So it's 2 months later, and we've got some beautiful new little plantlets. I've been watering now almost every other day, probably close to at least 4 times a week. Maybe 3 times. It just depends on the temperature in my house, how fast things are drying out. I'm not letting this totally dry out at all. So my Maxdusa, which is a pea Suzanne crossed with Habenaria Medusa. Got the 2 plantlets there, and then my Pegasus right there. And then the NOID, which just never produced anything. I was pretty sad about that. I was hoping that one would wake up, but didn't make it. So that's putting my hand in there so you can see how big they are. They're growing really nicely. I'm very, very happy. I have to turn them every other day or so because they grow towards the light really easy. Here we are about 3 weeks later, maybe close to 4, and my Habenarias are growing up. These 2 are the same. So this larger one here and this smaller one, it's a Habenaria Maxdusa.
that created another corm this last growing season, so I potted it up separately to try to get 2 plants. Someday if I get enough, I might pot them up all together. Maybe I'll offer some of them for sale. I've never sold anything, but maybe in the future as my plants get bigger. And then there's this one. This is the Pegasus, and it's got some beautiful mottled leaves, very lightly mottled compared to the Medusa, which is a nice green. So this has kind of got a dark olive sheen to it with the mottling. So everybody's doing pretty good so far this season, and I'm hoping last year they both grew, but they never bloomed for me. So I'm hoping this year I might actually get some blooms. And so I'm very new to Habenaria. This one, it did the same thing last year. It started turning brown, and I don't know if that's okay or not. It's in my northern window. It's a little bit of some grow lights that I have right here, but it's not directly under the grow lights, and it just gets this bright indirect light from my northern window. Last year when they were growing, I had them strictly under really bright grow lights, and I thought maybe it was a sunburn. I just can't see that happening in the lighting that I have it in, because there's absolutely no direct sun that comes anywhere near here. But so as it grew, it got browner and browner and browner, and just that was it until the whole plant just went into dormancy. So I'm hoping this one that's the most advanced isn't gonna just do that without blooming. So we'll just keep hoping, and I'll film another update here maybe another few weeks. Number of weeks later with my Habenaria, and my Maxdusas, which is this small one here and this larger one here, did not do well at all. I might have underwatered the bloom spike here. It had all these buds just turned brown and crispy. So I'm real sad about that. So this one is not going to bloom. And I believe I rotted this little guy. I think I got too much water right next to it. When you water these, it's best to just water on the outer rim. So this one also does not make it. So this is both of my Maxdusas. And the one that I'm really excited about is my Pegasus. And it looks like I have 5 buds developing. This will be the very first time I ever bloom Habenaria. Just trying to get you some good images of the buds. They have little spurs. So cute, I'm so excited. So the next video will hopefully be with some flowers.